Before we dive into this one, Commanders fans, smash that like button, subscribe to Commanders HQ, and turn on those notifications. It helps us bring you more exclusive updates from Ashburn, insider takes, and yes, even the tough conversations like the one we're having today. Because we may need to talk about something that's rubbing a few folks the wrong way out in Loudoun County. Did the Washington Commanders just let a young, ascending wideout slip through their fingers, only to see him shine somewhere else? Let's break it all down. It's no secret that Adam Peters has come into DC with a mindset that is as aggressive as it is pragmatic. The new general manager has made it clear there's a price for every player, and if that number doesn't match the team's valuation, they're moving on. No hard feelings, no hesitation. That philosophy has led to blockbuster additions, like Deebo Samuel Sr., a trade many are already calling a heist after just a few OTA sessions. But it's also meant saying goodbye to some familiar faces, guys who may not have been stars, but who were finally starting to come into their own. One of those names? Diami Brown. Commanders fans know this story well. A third-round pick out of UNC in 2021, Brown showed flashes early on, but struggled to carve out a consistent role. It wasn't until late in the 2024 season that something clicked. Maybe it was the change in quarterback. Maybe it was a new level of confidence. Whatever the reason, Diami became a legitimate contributor, especially in the playoff push. He was stretching the field, making clutch grabs, flashing that 4.4 speed we were all promised on draft night. And just like that, he was gone. When free agency opened, Washington made their position clear. They liked Diami. They appreciated his growth, but they weren't willing to overpay for a small sample size, especially with Deebo Samuel, Jahan Dotson, and Michael Gallup already in the building. Enter the Jacksonville Jaguars, who didn't hesitate. 1 year, $10 million. $9.5 million guaranteed. Washington wouldn't match it. And to be fair, it was a lot of money for a receiver with only one strong half-season under his belt. From a front office perspective, the decision made sense. But now it's starting to feel different. OTA reports out of Jacksonville are lighting up the timeline, and Diami Brown is at the center of it all. SB Nation's Travis Holmes was in attendance and didn't hold back. Diami Brown has been heating up. With two 20-plus yard grabs in 7-on-7, another 25-yarder, and 15-yarder in 11-on-11s, he's already building chemistry in Liam Cohen's offense. 6 catches on the day, all of them noticeable. 6 catches. Multiple chunk plays. Day 2 of practice. Look, we've seen this story before. Diami always turned heads in training camp. The real question was whether he could do it when the lights came on. But after his mini resurgence in Washington, this doesn't feel like a tease anymore. It feels like a player finally putting it all together. And that's what has fans, and even some inside the building, wondering if Washington made a mistake. Let's pump the brakes for a second. It's easy to get caught up in the what-ifs. During OTAs, no pads, no contact, no live bullets flying. And if we're being honest, Adam Peters was hired to build a championship roster, not get sentimental over day 3 picks finding themselves 4 years in. He's reshaped this wide receiver room around guys who fit Cliff Kingsbury's offense. Deebo, Dotson, Gallup. He brought in Zach Ertz and still has rookie Luke McCaffrey getting work in the slot. Brown simply didn't have a clear role in that mix. Could Washington have matched the Jaguars' offer? Probably. But should they have? That's the debate. Here's where it gets tricky. Diami Brown is still just 25. He's entering what should be the prime of his career. And he has every reason to ball out this year. This is his prove-it deal. If he becomes a reliable WR2 in Jacksonville, that $10 million price tag will suddenly look like a bargain. If he fizzles, well, then Peters looks like a genius. But if Diami Brown becomes a Pro Bowler, even a fringe one, that's when Commanders fans, and Commanders media, will start asking the hard questions. Not because Peters was wrong, but because sometimes the right call still hurts. Let's not forget, Diami Brown's departure directly opened the door for the Commanders to trade for Deebo Samuel Sr., and all Deebo has done so far, show up in elite shape, dominate reps at OTAs, and win over teammates with extra work alongside Michael Gallup. According to Deebo himself, the Commanders built him a personalized strength program the minute he arrived, and he's thriving under it. So yes, Diami is balling out down south, but the Commanders might have upgraded in every way possible with Deebo. They got a proven all-pro, a tone setter, a locker room dog, someone who wants to help Jaden Daniels rise. If this version of Deebo sticks around all year, there won't be a soul in Ashburn regretting that $10 million departure. Still, the Diami storyline won't just fade away. Fans loved seeing his growth. They rooted for his breakout. And seeing him shine in teal and black hits a little differently. He was ours. The quiet WR4, who became a key contributor just in time for a playoff run, only to be priced out and sent packing. It's not a mistake yet, but it's something to watch. Because if Brown becomes a star in Jacksonville, we'll all remember how close he came to doing it right here in burgundy and gold. Kendall Fuller's history with the Washington Commanders runs deep. Drafted by the team in 2016, traded to Kansas City in the Alex Smith deal, then brought back in 2020, he's worn the burgundy and gold with pride across 2 different stints. He wasn't just a decent cornerback. He was a stabilizing force, a mentor for younger players, and one of the few veterans who weathered the storm through regime changes, poor seasons, and finally, that 2023 playoff run. Fuller was often asked to play both outside and inside. No matter where you put him, he delivered. He wasn't flashy, but he was reliable. And in this city, reliability in the secondary has been hard to come by. So, when news dropped that Mo Moton of Bleacher Report suggested the Dallas Cowboys as his next landing spot, fans weren't just surprised. They were gutted. Let's be real here. Dallas is desperate in the secondary. Trevin Diggs is still recovering from a torn ACL and may not be ready for Week 1 Jordan Lewis, their slot corner, left in free agency, and Chevin Revel Jr., their 3rd round. Rookie is coming off an ACL tear of his own. Stephen Jones has already said on record that there's a good chance Diggs misses the start of the season. Enter Kendall Fuller. Moton's argument is simple. Fuller is a plug-and-play veteran who can start outside immediately, then slide inside to nickel if needed. He's versatile, he's smart, and he knows NFC East football better than most. It's a move that makes too much sense, especially if Dallas wants to keep pace with the Commanders and Eagles, who both upgraded heavily this offseason. But here's the problem, Commanders fans. It might actually happen. Let's not forget, Fuller was available this offseason. After signing a short-lived deal with the Dolphins, injuries kept him from making any kind of real impact in Miami. That made him a cap casualty, and there was a brief window this spring when fans across social media were practically begging GM Adam Peters to bring Fuller home. But Peters stuck to his plan. Instead of reuniting with Fuller, Washington made 2 major moves in the cornerback room. They signed 2-time Super Bowl winner Jonathan Jones, a proven veteran with elite speed and championship experience. Then, they spent their 2nd-round pick, number 61 overall, on Trey Amos, a corner with size, upside, and scheme versatility. And let's not forget, Washington already has Marshawn Lattimore, a 4-time Pro Bowler expected to bounce back in 2025, and promising young players like Benjamin St-Juste, Emmanuel Forbes, and Christian Holmes in the rotation. Bottom line, Peters believes he already has 5 capable corners who can play meaningful snaps. So, as much as it may sting, from a football standpoint, letting Fuller walk was probably the right move. But football is more than just X's and O's. It's emotional. And Fuller's legacy in Washington is personal for a lot of fans. Now, he's staring down a reality that no one expected. Joining the Cowboys, the same team that Commanders fans love to hate. Make no mistake, Kendall Fuller is a pro's pro. He's not going to be making decisions based on nostalgia or fan emotions. He's 30 years old, has dealt with injuries, and just wants to get back on an NFL field. And at this point in his career, the number on the check might matter more than the name on the jersey. That's life in the NFL. Still, it's hard to imagine seeing him suit up in that shade of blue. Not after everything he gave to this franchise, not after what he meant in that locker room, and especially not with how things are trending in DC. Let's flip the lens for a second. What does all this say about where Washington is now? It says the Commanders have evolved past sentimentality. Adam Peters and Dan Quinn are building a program based on performance, accountability, and projection, not the past. In years gone by, the old regime might have clung to a familiar face like Fuller for security. Not this one. Instead, they added Deebo Samuel Sr., Laramie Tunsil, Jonathan Jones, and a promising draft class. They built through youth and winners. This team is future-focused. So while it stings to see a respected former commander even linked to the Cowboys, it's also a reminder that we're not in the same place anymore. This is a new era, a new standard, and a new rivalry to define it. So what do you think, Commanders? Fans, should Washington have kept Diami Brown? Was $10 million too much? Or are you all in on Deebo Samuel and happy with the WR room as it stands? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear from the diehards. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed the breakdown. Subscribe to Commanders HQ for more insider stories every week, and hit that bell so you never miss an update. Next time, stay strong, stay loyal, and as always, hail to the Commanders.